Good morning. Welcome back to Market Monday. Thanks for joining me for information about what's happening in Northwest Ohio's real estate market. So, in our region, we have 1,257 available homes for our buyers, and we also have 103 that are coming soon, which means usually within the next 7 to 21 days, these houses are also going to be available. So, this is super exciting news. We're up to about 1,360 homes available, which we were running around 700 or 800. So this is definitely a nice increase. Oregon and Point Place are a couple areas that I serve, and I like to just share the statistics for these two areas so you know what's going on. Oregon currently has 22 homes available. This is up from last week. We had 19, and we have 29 available on Point Place. And last week we only had 28. So we had 5 new ones in Oregon in the past week, 7 new ones in the past week in Point Place. Coming soon, 2 in Oregon, 1 in Point Place. We had 8 houses that went under contract last week in Oregon and 11 that went under contract in Point Place. So 5 that sold and closed and 6 that sold and closed in Point Place. So those are our numbers. What has been happening in the last 7 days, and this is good news too. We had 64 new sellers commit to putting their house on the market coming soon. We had 217 new homes that did come on the market. We had 250 that went contingent, 135 that went pending. Some of these pendings are homes that were contingent that have now removed the contingencies and they're getting ready for closing. And then we had 300 that sold and closed. So the first time in almost 2 months, we actually sold more houses last week than we had actually come on the market. We only actually had 281 come on the market, and we sold and closed 300. We had seen this in the spring and early summer where we were selling more than we were actually bringing on the market. Our numbers of what's coming on the market have started to increase, which is great. We needed more homes. But that sold number was actually less. But we have to keep in mind last week was the end of the month. And those numbers when at the end of the month are always higher on our solds. So that was part of the increase in this number. But we did sell more than we actually brought on the market last week. So that is going to contribute to our housing shortage, lower inventory that we do have. We do have our August numbers in. We sold 1,077 total home sales in August. The price in August was up from August of last year by 14.7%. So the average sales price being over 200,000. The average number of days on the market to sell a home is 59, which that number is actually down from August of 2020 by 19.2%. And you can see in August, this is when we started to have the shift where we were getting more listings on the market. We had 1,348 new listings, and we only sold 1,077 that month. So that is what has absolutely helped us to increase our inventory. We have been talking about this a little bit. We are starting to see some signs of the housing market soften a little bit. This increase in inventory and a little bit of a decrease in the number of homes that are actually selling. So, but keep in mind, it's still a very competitive, still a seller's market, even though we're starting to see some early signs of softening. One way to kind of take a look at this and understand this is our pending home sales. So this goes all the way back to 2012, and you can see this historically healthy level of pending home sales is the white line. And you can see where we kind of have the up and down, more over than lower. But if you take a look at right here, this is actually where the start of the pandemic was. So this was January, February, March. You see this huge drop in the number of pending home sales. Everything was pretty much shut down. We were essential at that point, but sales dramatically decreased at that point. And so after that pandemic, where everything was closed down, COVID, we had this huge jump in the number of pending home sales. This was last summer because it was so busy from right after this drop. And now you can see that that has continued to come down. And you can see right here where we still have, we had some slowing over the winter time. And then the pending home sales pop back up in the spring. And then as summer has come along, we have started to decrease this number. So for pending home sales, though, if you look at this, even though we're having this little bit of softening and this little bit of decrease here where the red arrow is, you can see that we're still well above a historically healthy level of pending home sales. So again, a slight softening, but nothing to get super, super excited about. We can see the same thing with the number of showings on houses. So this was, let's go back to, you can see March, April, May, when we were shut down last year is where the red was. This is a typical, the yellow line is normal or typical. This is for the number of showings and this is our monthly index for the number of showings. In COVID, you'll see here where it dropped well below. We have these red numbers, and then it went back up over the summer last year, dropped back down over the winter, and then as spring came along, this is May. So or March. This is March and April of this year. Our showing index was all the way up to 283 or 280, where a normal index is about 123. So as we've seen May, June, July, headed into August, this is where that little red arrow was on the previous slide. You can see the number of showings is down. And you can see that even though our index is 189.4, lower, almost by 100 points, you can see that we're still way above a typical showing time, our typical showing time monthly index. So still a very healthy seller's market, still a very busy, hyper competitive market. So if you are thinking about selling, it's still a great time to sell your home. If you're thinking about buying, it is also a great time to be a buyer because of the interest rates. I have been seeing numbers back under 3% again. This makes housing so affordable right now, more affordable than when your parents bought or when your grandparents bought a home. So good information. Hopefully this helps you make educated decisions. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, I hope you found this information helpful, and I will see you next Monday. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.